Hey guys, Taylor here from Infinity Watch, here with another video today. Now, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button to get all notifications on new videos. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how they can create a Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe. Now, I recently saw Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I also watched a video by Game Theory about how the Nintendo universe is connected, not necessarily a multiverse, but they're all in the same universe, and how they can all be one way or another interconnected to each other. So I highly recommend you check that video, because a lot of what I'm going to say in here is actually based upon those ideas. Now, the difference between that video and this video is that in this video I'm going to be laying down exactly how I think that Nintendo should go about it, and what actually scenes would indicate that the universes are connected. Okay, so first and foremost, if you guys have not seen Avengers Endgame, or if you haven't seen any of the Marvel movies, obviously this channel is more about Marvel, but I'm going to go into other things as well. That is like the perfect example of like how you should build up a character. Like, for example, Thanos. Like, Thanos was something that was 10 years in the making. We got really good, solid individual stories about every single character. And the reason why Endgame did so well, and as well as Infinity War and just the Marvel movies in general, is because they've built out characters and they've really got us to fall in love with the characters, which is the same reason why movies like Justice League didn't turn out so great, because immediately we got Aquaman and Flash and Wonder Woman. Barely, we had some backstory, but not really that much, and that's why those movies didn't do so well. So I think that if Nintendo wants to follow success, they should follow the Marvel formula, which is basically make a lot of solo movies, get people really invested in the characters, and then cross them over once everybody knows who everyone is. And so I think the best way to go about this, and this is just based upon what the directors of Detective Pikachu said, they said that they would start with a Legend of Zelda movie first. And I think this is a great way to go, because Zelda, Link is, in my opinion, he would be like the Captain America of the Super Smash Bros. Universe. Like, he's the main guy, he's the person that all the villains could come from first. Like Ganondorf could invade other Earths, and I'll explain how that's going to work in a second. I think that would be a great place to start, and it'd be a good catalyst to get everybody else involved in the universe. Okay, so I think what they should do, they should make a Zelda trilogy where the first movie isn't about Ganondorf. They tease him, they kind of make it show that he's there, he's present, he's watching in the distance, kind of like Thanos. And then as the movies go on, probably by the third movie is when they actually introduce, okay, we're gonna actually get the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe involved. And while this is happening, we're getting movies like Sonic, we're getting Mario. I heard rumors that there's going to be a Metroid movie coming out, as well as more Pokemon movies. And I think, the best way to do this is the following. I think that if you make the whole universe take place in Rhyme City, or in the Pokemon universe, I think that would be a great place to start, because that's the first movie that came out, right? Now, how they would involve Star Fox and Metroid and these other characters like Donkey Kong and Mario is that I think that within the Pokemon universe, Samus and Fox McCloud can be part of that universe. They're not in a multiverse, they're not in a different galaxy or whatever. They're just in a different system. They're in outer space, they're far away. We don't know where they are. We know that they're space-based Pokemon. However, I think that this is just in a universe, far, far away. Not to make any Star Wars puns, but I think that it can take place within the Pokemon universe. And maybe there's a scene where Star Fox crashes into Earth and he meets Pokemon, and people think he's a Pokemon, so they try to capture him, but it doesn't work. And then they start doing research and find out that he's actually not from this universe. He's not from this Earth. He came from a different planet. He came from the Lilac system. And the same thing for Samus. I think Samus could be influenced in that way. I think that Star Fox and Samus could be intertwined in the movie at some point. I think they can meet each other and kind of have a similar enemy, or they're enemies themselves. I think that could work in that way. Now, how to get Mario involved, and Mr. Game and Watch even, or Zelda even, I think that what that should happen is that you should have this universe. So they're making a Mario movie, by the way. They're making a Mario movie based upon it's the same directors who did Despicable Me, so it's going to be that kind of animation. I think what the most awesome thing would happen is that at the end of the Zelda movie, maybe the third one, is that there's a post-credit scene. And in the post-credit scene, the movie ends, you think it's over, and it's this little kid playing Zelda, and he's playing it in Rhyme City. And when he's playing it in Rhyme City, there's a person in the background, or they cut to another shot where it shows Dr. Willy. People could recognize him, Dr. Willy, or maybe even Eggman. We'll see if these universes can be put together. But Dr. Willy is experimenting on some kind of tech, And in this tech, he's trying to bring Mega Man, or I guess X, out into the real world. As we know in the Mega Man games, there's lots of different spins of Mega Man, where he was like in Battle Network, where he was basically just a virus that, or he's hacked viruses in different computer systems. I think they can kind of combine those elements, and have Dr. Willy working on something where what happens is that there's a chemical reaction, all the power comes out, and then as this kid is playing a Zelda game, he pops out of the screen. And as this is happening, Mario's coming out of the screen, as well as Kirby and maybe some other characters that are video game based characters that are now into the Pokemon world. And I think that'd be a really unique take and a unique spin, other than just using like a multiverse theory, because that'd be a really huge, just kind of a cop-out way to doing it. I still think it'd be cool, but I think that if you really address that these are actual video game characters in what's, quote-unquote the real world, which is Pokemon, I think Pokemon could be interpreted as the real world. I think that'd be a really cool way to introduce those characters and make Link feel more like he's a character out of time, kind of how Captain America was, frozen in ice for years, then he just kind of showed up out of nowhere. And the whole plot of the movie is getting them back home. And maybe even in this process, when this this leak comes out where these characters come to life, the Master Hand shows up. The Master Hand would probably be like this big villain that is trying to take over the world. Could be even Ganondorf. It could be it could be just another Pokemon. Could be Deoxys. I think that'd just be a good way to kind of tailor it. I think that first and foremost, they shouldn't do what the Justice League did. They shouldn't make just a Super Smash Brothers movie right away, which is a very tempting thing that I think a lot of people are looking into. But at the same time, the Pokemon Pikachu directors, they said that they would start off with solo movies first, and I think that's a great idea. I think that's the best way to go. But just to recap, I think that the universe should take place in the Pokemon universe, and then Zelda should be its own thing, kind of disguise it, kind of make people believe that it's actually taking place, hundreds of years ago, when in reality it's just inside a game. It's inside somebody's Game Boy, or inside their DS, or whatever, the Wii U, or whatever it is at the time. And he comes to life. And then same thing with Mario. Mario's animated. I don't think he should be a live action person. We all saw how that turned out. I think it should just stay an animated, short midget plumber. And with Yoshi and all them. And I think that'd be a great way to kind of set up, build up the way to just establish it in the Pokemon universe, because that movie did really well. And I think if you establish it in that universe, it'll be easier for people to follow, because that was the first movie and it did really good at the box office. So these are just my opinions, though, you guys. If you guys have any suggestions, or you think that this can go a different way, comment down below. I want to read your thoughts. Once again, you guys, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all later.